So in case you can't tell by my face, by the fact that I have no makeup on, by the fact that this braid doesn't start until right here, I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. We've been having construction for like the past 2 to 3 weeks. It's like different places in my neighborhood, but I can hear in my house. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting woken up at 8 a.m. But I was like getting 5 hours of sleep. Please explain to me why my neighbors stayed up watching TV on full volume last night until 5 in the morning. Like, look, I'm literally like crying because I'm so tired. Anyways, I need to film a video, so I don't really have other time to do this, so let me do this. Today I'm going to be doing the Gryffindor Book Tag. This tag was created by Adventuring Foodie. Her YouTube channel will be linked down in the description below. So of course, since this is a Gryffindor Book Tag, all these questions will be based off of Harry Potter and Gryffindor. I'm not a Gryffindor, but I'm choosing to do the Gryffindor tag. Eventually I'll do all of the houses, but the reason I'm doing the Gryffindor tag right now is because I actually thought that I was a Gryffindor until I was 10, which is saying a lot because I liked Harry Potter since I was like a little child, so for half of my life I thought I was a Gryffindor because I'm 20 now. So Gryffindor always has a special place in my heart, even though I'm not truly a Gryffindor. I just wanted to be Gryffindor because Harry was in Gryffindor. I mean, I feel like that's what most of us did when we first read the series. So the first question is your favorite Harry Potter book. Of course, covering the author's name since she is transphobic, but this is my favorite Harry Potter book, Goblet of Fire, the 4th one. You get to see the Babatons and the Durmstrangs, and I absolutely love them. And I love the idea of like a competition in books. Like, I'm starting to realize that I really like books with competition type things in it, and so that's why the Triwizard Tournament appeals to me so much. Next up is House Colors, a book with red or gold on the cover. So Collateral Damage by Taylor Simmons has red on the cover clearly, and then also the under the jacket cover is very much red and gold, very much Gryffindor vibes. This whole book screams Gryffindor to me. It's about superheroes and this like a world where there's people chosen to be superheroes and then they're given these powers, but some of the superheroes start mysteriously dying and this girl gets involved with it, trying to figure out what was going on. It's just a fun story that's really creative where you get to see all these different superpowers and you get to see some really cool characters. Next up is Nearly Headless Nick, a character with a disappointing death. So spoiler alert for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, feel free to tap forward like a minute. I'm guessing will probably be good enough, so if you skip forward a minute you'll probably be able to avoid all the spoilers that I'm going to be talking about. So essentially every death in this book was disappointing to me except for Sejanus's. Like, he's my favorite character and I was devastated when he died, but his death was the only one that I felt was done well. Of course, you're in the Hunger Games, you're in a different arena, but the deaths didn't feel like epic in this one for some reason. They were very like anticlimactic, and the most disappointing death, if you want to call it a death, is Lucy Gray, and that is because you don't actually know if she's dead or not, and because it felt like, I don't know, it just sort of felt like it was a little out of character how she died, not in terms of her, but in terms of Coriolanus. I can never say his name. So I was really disappointed with the deaths in this book. I have very mixed feelings about this book in case you want to read my lengthy review on Goodreads. But yeah, overall the deaths were extremely disappointing in this Hunger Games prequel. Next up is The Fat Lady, a book that demanded your attention. I have a habit of entering most giveaways that I see, which means that I win quite a few books that are out of my normal genres, and this was one of them. So this is a lot like Adios by Alexis Daria. This is a romance of these two friends who were childhood friends, and then they sort of became lovers, and they had this giant breakup, they haven't talked in years, and then some circumstances bring them back together. This one demanded my attention because it was such a quick-paced, fun book, and it just like, I couldn't put it down. Like, I kept wanting to pick it up and read it. And I read this book much faster than I normally read books, which is saying a lot to how good this book actually is if I can finish it really quickly when it is that long. I highly recommend everyone reads this book. It is coming out on September 7th, but warning that it is very adult if you are under the age of 18. I do not recommend picking this one up, but I did really enjoy this one and it demanded my full attention. Next up is Gryffindor Common Room, your favorite cozy spot to read. So I only read in 2 spots in my house, so I'm gonna go with the spot that's probably the most comfiest. I have like this OCD thing slash I like to read where there's the best lighting and where I can be undisturbed, so there's only 2 spots in my house that meet those requirements, but the one that's the comfiest is when I read in the bath, because it's just like so relaxing. I can like lean back and have nice support for my back and just be in like nice warm water. It is very fun to read books in the bath and I really enjoy it. I am literally crying because I'm so tired. I am a mess. Next up is Bravery, a book outside of your comfort zone. So a lot like Adios would have worked for this one, but I am gonna go with a book called Dreidel to the Grave. Who is the author? I should look this up. Dreidel to the Grave is by Yoel Barakat. This is one that was outside of my comfort zone because it's historical fiction and it's a thriller, and I normally avoid those genres. However, I did enjoy this one quite a bit. It's a historical fiction thriller mixed with like an alternate history, and it's going off of this conspiracy theory that Hitler survived and made it to Argentina and lived for a decent amount of time in Argentina. So it was a really interesting theory, and I normally wouldn't have picked this up, but the author sent this book to me in exchange for an honest review, and I found it to be quite interesting. Number 7 is Determination, a book that took determination to finish. When I think of books that take determination to finish, the first thing that I think of is long books and boring books. So I'm unfortunately going to be choosing one for this that I wasn't a huge fan of. And the book that I'll be choosing is A Flight in the Heavens by Gabrielle Gagné-Cyr. I might have said their name wrong, but I tried my best to say their last name, but I don't know if I said it right or not. So this book is an extremely long book to start off with. I can't even find the page count on Goodreads right now because it's not cooperating, but it's extremely long, and I was reading it on the Kindle on my phone. It really like takes determination to read books on my phone, because a book that's say like 400 or 300 pages or whatever, like the hard copy would say like 300 pages, but then I have to make the text big because obviously text that could fit on a page like this won't fit all on my phone screen really easily, and so then it will say like I have 10,000 pages to read, so it really takes determination to get through books on my phone. This one in particular was longer than normal books I read on my phone. I try to read shorter books on my phone, and then also this story just did not interest me, and it felt like it went on and on forever, and it felt like it didn't reach a strong climax, so it really took determination to finish this one. I was so close to giving up at so many parts, but I kept telling myself, I need to do this. I'm gonna have a chance to interview the author with one of the Goodreads groups I'm in, which I will be talking about that next week, the Goodreads groups I'm part of, but I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta stay determined, I gotta finish this book, and I ended up finishing it. I gave it 2 stars, so it wasn't like the worst book in the world, but it definitely was not on my list of favorites. And the final prompt is number 8, Adventurous, a book that took you on a grand adventure. So I'm gonna go for a series with this one because I really liked this series, and I feel like this one took me on such a large adventure, so I need to mention all of them, which I'm currently holding it out of order, so I should probably put the books in order. The Castor Chronicles series. This is one that took me on a grand adventure. So we have Beautiful Creatures. This one, you don't really travel that much outside of the city, but it was still like really enjoyable, and there's still like a giant adventure that happens. And then you move on to Beautiful Darkness, and the adventure starts traveling to other cities, which is very cool. And then you get Beautiful Chaos. This one was a little like depressing because of what was happening in it, but it was also still really good, and it had such a good adventure in it even though it was a bit sad. And then this one, Beautiful Redemption, is like the wild card in the series. I cannot tell you what it's about without spoiling it, but this has the biggest adventure. This was my favorite one of the series, and I feel like it somewhat is worth reading this whole series just to read this final book. So this series definitely took me on such a great adventure. Also, I'm sort of annoyed that I have these 3 that are shiny covers and that this one is not shiny. That's the thing, I got these 3 at Goodwill, I saw that they all matched, and then this one, I saw it online and I was like, it looks like the same style of cover, so I was like, okay, great, I'll get it. But then when it arrived at my house, I was like, it's not shiny. It doesn't match. And normally I don't mind about having mismatched series, and like this isn't the end of the world, but I was so close to having a full matching set. Just this one's not shiny. How do I get a shiny one? I want a shiny one. Anyways, that was all for this Gryffindor book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully when I talk to you next, I've gotten more sleep and I am not crying because I'm so tired. I honestly like hate crying online, and I would have avoided that, but I just really needed to film a book video. So this was the time that I got. I just took advantage of the time that I got. If you want to do this tag, all of the questions for the tag will be down in the description below. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe to me if you haven't already. All of my other social media will be linked down in the description below. Friendly reminder that I don't support TERFs, and while I do like Harry Potter, I do make efforts to donate to GoFundMes and different charities that help trans people. So just to be clear, I am a trans ally, and I in no way support the author of the Harry Potter series. I upload videos 3 times a week, so I will see you this Friday for my next video. And for now, I'm hoping that you are having a great week so far, and I will see all of you in my next video. Goodbye!